Grandma Bee's Busy Life. I'm Brenda. Today we're going to be taking a regular box brownie mix, adding toppings, 3 different kinds, to make 3 different kinds of brownies. If you are new here, on Tuesdays and Saturdays I post cooking, budget shopping, frugal ideas, and gardening videos. And on Thursdays I post a vlog where I sit down and have a cup of coffee and chat about whatever's going on in my life. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I am trying to get to 200 subscribers by Wednesday next week. So I have just a few days left. As of this morning, I still had 17 to go. I'm hovering at 183. I get a few and lose a few, and then get a few and then lose a few, and I'm kind of hovering at 183. So help me out if you're a regular viewer and you are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing to help me out to get to that goal by Wednesday next week, which happens to be my birthday. So let's get started on the brownies. All I did was made this regular box of brownies, but I made it in small pans, 3 of these small pans, because I wanted to make each kind different. The recipes that I'll put in the description box are for a whole 13 by 9 pan, but I'm only going to do a third of it so that I can do 3 different kinds. The first one is s'mores, and it doesn't get any easier than this. Just sprinkle the top with marshmallows. Let me get a little bit more on there. And then I'm using halved Hershey's Kisses. Oh, it looks like there's a whole one in there. That's all right. And you can use chocolate chips or cut up chocolate bars. It doesn't matter, just as long as you get the chocolate. All right, and then just graham crackers. Just sprinkle chunks on there. This is 2 full crackers, but I don't think I'm going to need it all. And then I'm going to actually put a little more marshmallow on top. I don't know why, because I can. And then I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 and wait until the marshmallows and the chocolate both start to melt and the marshmallows get slightly brown. All right, this one is also very simple. I just have this jar of Hershey's caramel. What do you think? Let me know what you call it. Do you pronounce the A in it, the caramel, or does it just caramel? I typically say caramel. If your jar is thicker than this one hasn't been microwaved, but if it is thicker than this, you're going to want to microwave it so it'll pour. And then I'm just going to sprinkle pretzels on top. I just broke these up. You can use any old pretzel you'd like. Just put them in my hand and crunched them, and they did fine. And I'm actually going to put some salt on top so that it's a salted caramel. That's it for this one. How easy is that? This last one's a little more work, but let me tell you, it is worth it. It's a German chocolate frosting. This frosting can be used for anything. It can be refrigerated, it can be frozen, but the thing is that it can go on a cake or cupcakes or cookies. It's just the classic German chocolate frosting. You start by using, the recipe is 1-1-1-2-2. 1 stick of butter, 1 can of evaporated milk, and 1 cup of sugar. And that is melted in a pan until it starts to boil, and then when it should boil for about 3 minutes, and you'll know it's done when it will coat the back of a spoon. When we get to that point, I'll show you what that looks like. While I'm waiting for this this to come to a boil, I'm just going to whisk up 3 whole eggs. I know, those of you who have ever made a custard type before, you say, wait a minute, why are you putting the egg whites in? I put the egg whites in because, well, I'm lazy. You can do it with 6 egg yolks. I do it with 3 whole eggs. It works, tastes delicious. So that's what I do. And now I'm just going to set this aside and wait for this to come to a boil before I use it. And I'm going to take a small amount of this and put it into my eggs slowly while I'm whisking, so that I can slowly bring the temperature of the eggs up to the temperature of the milk. If I did it all at once, or if I dumped the eggs into the milk, I'd have milk and scrambled eggs. And I definitely don't want milk and scrambled eggs. Not for my brownies, anyway. And once I've put about a cup in, then that is enough to have brought my eggs up to good temperature. This is 1/8 of a cup, so it's going to take a lot of these, but I think we're getting pretty close. And the outside of my bowl feels warm where it was cold a few minutes ago. Having your eggs at room temperature before you start always helps too. Okay. Now I'm going to slowly add it into this mixture while I'm whisking. I realize you're being blocked by the bowl. Oh, look, I spilled. And then I'm just going to stir this till it starts to thicken, and it's already starting to thicken. It'll get almost like a pudding. Okay, it has thickened up quite a bit. See how much thicker it is? It's like a pudding. I'm going to cut the heat. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, or so. Stir it in. And this is where the 2 comes in. 1 stick butter, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs, 2 cups of toasted coconut. I buy mine toasted because, again, lazy. And 2 cups of chopped pecans. And then just stir that in, and you're going to want to let it cool completely before you put it on the brownies. So that's going to take a bit. I'm going to pop this I'm going to let it cool at room temperature first. And once it's cool to room temperature, then I will pop it in the fridge to store it until I'm ready to put it on my brownies. You want it room temperature before you put it on your brownies, though, because it's too hard to spread when it's refrigerated. All right, it's cooled to room temperature. Like I said, you can refrigerate this or freeze it. Just bring it back to room temperature before you frost, because it's way too thick and hard to frost when it's that cold. That's it. Look how easy that is. Did you know German chocolate frosting was that easy? So here they all are. The salted caramel pretzel, s'mores, and German chocolate. Well, because it's part of the job and somebody's got to do it, I'm going to taste them. All of them. Don't judge. Look. I cut little pieces. All right, let me start with the s'mores. Oh, it's super gooey. Look. The marshmallow's holding it all together. Oh my goodness, look, it's stretched out. The marshmallow's stretched out. You make sure I have chocolate, all of the parts. It tastes like a s'more on top of a brownie. It's delicious. It's just what you would expect. All right, let's try the caramel and pretzel one. gooey caramel, pretzels on top. I love the crunch of the pretzels. And it's really sweet, but every once in a while I get this little hint of salt, which we know caramel and salt goes together really well, right? It's really good. All right, now I'm going to try the German chocolate. So good. I love German chocolate frosting. I love it. And it is really good on a fudgy, chewy brownie. It's amazing. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. And if you decide to make these brownies, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear how it went. And I hope you have an amazing day. See you again soon.